Okay, for all targeted individuals, this is very important. Uh, this is the 7-star general. They don't give out 7 stars on Earth, but in my kingdom they do, and I'm the only one who has one. Anyway, run the track. No, no, no. This is a video to educate the targeted individuals in order to show you how to fight at all levels. Obviously, this is some kind of holy war that we involved ourselves in. I didn't even know I was in any type of war until I started to be a targeted individual. Yeah, and obviously, I started to think along the lines of uh, being a general. Yeah, in order to deal with my targeting. Yeah, so basically, you start to think logically, as you would if you was in the military. I've never been in the military, but if I was, I would be thinking logically. Yeah, so you start to think along those lines. Now, you're in a war, there's a battlefield out there. Yeah, there are battles and wars. Yeah, now, because there are battles and wars, when you identify certain perpetrators, you might not need to beat them in a battle just yet, but you beat them in a battle somewhere along the line in order for you to win the war. Now, when you find that your perpetrators are family and acquaintances, you don't wash your dirty linen in public. Yeah, you don't badmouth your family. Yeah, you just keep quiet. Yeah, and deal with it. Yeah, at least you know who's doing it. Yeah, and whatever you do, make sure that it doesn't reflect badly on your friends, family, and acquaintances. Yeah, in terms of identifying them publicly. You should try not to do that because that would just be one battle won, but you lose the war because when you get rid of those who know you, you're left with those who don't know you and they don't have no love for you already and they don't know you and you're not related to them. So you become the most obvious choice to be a victim every time somebody says, "Oh, we need a victim." You will be, your mug face will be there, and you'll be selected most of the time. So, um, to identify and to test for and identify your perpetrators is a simple two-step strategy. First of all, you make a list of people you need to test. There's two categories. Family and acquaintances, you must treat delicately. That's one level, but you also must check that. You must check, otherwise you won't know who's doing it to you. But like I said, you don't do that battle. Yeah, you don't do that battle. Yeah, yet. You might need to if it's something that's clear and present danger. But just know who's watching you. I mean, they're watching us. We don't know who they are. I can't see into their minds, but they're seeing into mine. And I also need to keep an eye on them, for my safety. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you need to check to see if there's anything there that's also a perpetrator that's monitoring your thoughts. Then you can check for strangers, target groups. Uh, Thinking along the lines of target groups is the best way of identifying strangers. So when you want to test for a stranger, you involve yourself with theist or atheist rivals. Where you have opinions about religion, politics, ideology, and economics, you have rivals. Now you need to check if your rivals along those lines are watching. Rivals might not necessarily be acquaintances, but it might be acquaintances of acquaintances or people in your industry or people in the same um, um, I don't know, economic band or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, so you just need to test for others who are watching you that are not friends and acquaintances. So you have these views to help you test for that. So after you made a list, select someone from the list. Yeah. First of all, you need to have been humble in public. And if a few weeks have gone by where you haven't had any gang stalking, or a few months or a few days, um, you've been humble. Whenever somebody walks towards you, you move out of the way. I even move out of the way of dogs. Yeah, I don't even touch a pebble. Yeah, if I see a cat running towards me, I move out of the way. Yeah, where you're completely humble, like you're nothing. And then see if the gang stalking and street theater subsides. Yeah. There are other things you can study when you're humble, but we'll come to those later on in life. Select an individual from the above list once you've done this successfully. Select an individual from the above list. Let's say it's a family member or an acquaintance. After you've selected that person, select a thought. If it's a family member and an acquaintance, you think of a subject or topic where you have a difference of opinion. Yeah? It might not be somebody who's close to you, so you might think of something. Let's say you have a religious opinion, yeah, and you want to test if this certain individual is seeing into your mind, and you know that your religious opinion offends them, or they'll find it, or they'll be provoked. You can provoke an emotion out of them. So you just think of that opinion in your head, yeah, or you can think something about them that they wouldn't like to be criticized. Let's say a family member has a big nose, so you can think of their big nose. Yeah. After you've done that, then you can record any moment where the selected individual initiates a conversation relating to your selected thought. If you've thought of a religious point of view, and this individual, let's say they haven't talked about anything religious for months, and then all of a sudden they initiate a conversation about that view that you had in your head. Yeah, if this happens, then you have proved that that selected individual can see your thoughts. Then you also look out for gang stalking or street theater activity. And if that happens, then that selected individual is a gang stalker or is one of your designated handlers. So yeah, you identify them, and then again you need to choose whether to do a battle, yeah, or strategize for the greater war. Yeah. Now obviously if you have Christ in your heart at all times, when you realize that, yeah, God realizes it. When you realize that, God realizes it, and so does Jesus. Yeah. God realizes everything that's in anyone's mind, even those who are perpetrators. Yeah. As soon as you realize that, as soon as you connect the two dots, yeah, as soon as that realization happens, nature understands it. God understands it. As soon as that realization happens, nature understands it, God understands it, Jesus understands it, and so forth. Yeah. So at this moment in the war, we're normally not engaging in battles as such, but you might need to. You might say something provoking, yeah, and this person not only initiates a conversation, they might physically try to attack you, so you might need to lay him out. Because remember, an eye for an eye can never be a crime. Yeah. Jesus will plead with you and ask for restraint and ask for you to forgive. But where God is concerned, that's entirely up to your discretion. That's why Jesus pleads and asks you to forgive. He doesn't demand it of you, because when you are dealing with God matters, He's there to plead for everyone. So you don't. An eye for an eye can never be a crime, and Jesus never said that it was a crime. He just asks that you show some restraint if you can. Yeah, but you're not obliged to. It's at your discretion, and it can never be a crime, so God won't punish you for it. So you must defend your life at all times anyway. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. And if this happens, you might need to take other drastic measures. So you need to keep an eye on that if you're going to use this method to identify them. But at the end of the day, you need to know. I need to know who's watching me because I'm competing with these people and I don't know. Yeah? Some of them might be ready to attack me. If their reaction is severe to your thoughts, then that one is ready to pop, as the saying might go. If the reaction is severe, if you think something and they become physical in their conversations or their actions and their gang stalking becomes high, then that person is ready to pop. And it's a good thing that you've seen them. You know, you could get a little heads up, you know. So these are just the ways that we can see who's watching us when they're watching us. You can't see their thoughts like they see us, but at least you can see the individual. So when you stop panicking and doing your melodrama, at least you can see. You need to calm down, and that's what Jesus did. That's what Jesus is for. So once you've calmed down, then you can realize that I can see these people. And if you can see them, that can reassure you. At least I can see them. They're targeting me, fair enough. But at least I've found a way of seeing them. I've seen who is targeting me. Yeah. And you can rest easy after that. And we'll go through. If you have any questions to ask me, please. This is very important, a very important strategy. As I call myself a general in my head, I'm a general, and there's no general higher than me in my head, and that's how I think. And I'm approaching this like a war with battles and a greater war. Yeah. I don't know who called me to this war, but all I know is I'm in the friggin' war. All right. So if you got questions, please, 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 now is the time to ask, because obviously, I mean, you also should be. We're in the middle of a spiritual war, and we don't have time for idle chit chat. But if you got questions regarding this, please ask. Thank you.